welcome to Chit Chat, where we actually chit chat and have some quality chat. Welcome to another episode of ChitChatChai. Today we have a very unique guest today who's going to talk about Muslim networking and dating. Would you like to give a quick intro?
Sure. So my name is Wajeeha and I'm a project manager working tech. And I also manage MUSCONNECT, which is a networking program for Muslims.
Nice. We'll add the descriptions, add the links and all that stuff down below. So you said you run MUSCONNECT. Tell us a bit about that. What is it? What are you trying to achieve with it?
So I find that it's really difficult for Muslims to meet like-minded people. In general as well, I feel like Muslims are still a massive ethnic minority in this country. So where do you go to find your Muslim friend? You can't go to the pub to meet them, so and also as well, I think it's important to have Muslim friends because we live in a country where we don't want to lose our roots. So the whole reason, the purpose behind MUSCONNECT was to connect Muslims together.
And it's important as well because Muslims share the same, they're meant to share the same values, right?
Yeah.
And it's quite different to people that aren't Muslim as well. It's a lot more rooted in their faith.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And our group is quite diverse as well. So, Muslims aren't just South Asians, as we'd like to think. So there are lots of Arabs, lots of people from different places. And it's all about getting together and, just connecting, which is really important.
Exactly. Now that is interesting as well. And what type of... So you do networking and dating events. Yeah. What type of networking events? Well, I know a bit of the answer. I went to one of these events. It was like a board game event, which was amazing. It was amazing.
Did you have fun? Yeah.
It was a ton of fun. Getting people together to fight each other in board games. What's more fun than that?
I think when you put people together and play games and get competitive, you can bond so quickly.
It's true.
It's let's find my friends, let's find my enemies.
Who are my enemies?
Yeah, exactly. And so the reason why we do the board game events is that it breaks the ice with people. Exactly. So I don't know, I've been to a lot of networking events where you go and people asking what your favorite color is or what do you do, and whereas if you play games like cards, you find out so much about someone. You get to see their competitive streak, you get to see all the cheeky things they do. So you get to know someone so quickly in the space of a couple of hours. So, we do the board games to sort of break the ice, but we do networking events as well. We also do speed dating events. Part of the reason why I've launched MUSCONNECT is one big thing that I want to do is the dating element of it. Yeah. Because dating is a struggle for Muslims.
Mm-hmm. Is that specific to, because I know, me as a Muslim myself, I find being in London, you struggle with your identity quite a lot as well. Yeah. And then you're struggling with your identity. And then, as you said, you don't have your Muslim network just readily available. People say, go to the mosque. It doesn't work like that, It doesn't.
No. And I think as well, growing up, our parents do a really great job of teaching us religion, culture. But then when you grow up, it's you're accountable for following up with that. Yeah. And then how do you do it? Because when you go out and about, I certainly didn't have Muslim and Asian friends. So I didn't want to lose my culture. I love the Pakistani culture, so many great things about chai, biryani, I don't want to ever lose that. So, for me, that was such a huge thing. I don't want to lose that culture, but also as well, it's important for me to be with someone that's Muslim and date someone that's Muslim. And there's so many other people that are in the same sort of bracket.
Same boat, yeah.
They don't know where to go.
Yeah, exactly. And so when did you start this as well? When did MUSCONNECT, how was it born?
Yeah, so it was actually born because I was moving to London and I wanted friends. I wanted Muslim friends. And I was like, okay, let me look and see what's out there. And there were a few things out there, but I was like, I want to create a space for myself so I can actually make friends. Yeah. So I launched it last year in, I think it was October, November.
Wow, okay, yeah.
So since then we've ran at least one event every month, if not
one a
two
month,
or three.
That's not bad, yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3, that's a lot.
We've done 2 or 3, yeah. So, and this is the thing, we started with nothing and now we have nearly 700 members on Meetup.
700 members is a lot,
which is amazing and counting.
Yeah. So, and how many events have you sold out as well? People saying that everyone's coming.
Yeah, I mean, the last event that we did, we had 85 people sign up. I mean, sorry, 85 people attend. We had 100 people sign up, and there was a waiting list as well.
That's great.
So, and it's a free event, and Muslims and Desis love
They
free
love
events.
free. Anything that's free, they'll jump on it.
Exactly. So we've kind of done that, like made it free, but also had the fun element of board games, and that's why it attracts people. And also they go there, they have like good fun, they make friends. So it's achieving all of like the goals
that you have. Actually, I met a guy called Kareem from one of your events, and I've met him like 2-3 times. I met Kareem from there. Yeah, such a nice guy.
Yeah.
So we met up, and then there was the Eid event in Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
And then we met him there as well.
Oh, good.
And then we met him. There was another time we met him as well. So just through that event, we just stayed in touch. It was really good.
Honestly, like I'm really glad that that's what's happened, and I find with these events, like all the people that come are really nice. Just nice, genuine people. They're looking to build their social network. The same boat as us, just like nice people. So I'm lucky that I haven't attracted any weirdos.
No creeps yet. Okay, so you've said that you're doing the networking and the dating, and you want to lean into the dating. So what is it about dating that appeals to you, specifically in the Muslim area? Because that is quite a controversial area as well, right?
Yeah. I think for me, it's kind of like a bit of my experiences, but also speaking to so many people. Everyone you talk to about dating in the Muslim remit, they are all struggling.
Everyone has a horror story.
Everyone has horror stories, and everyone's they want to meet someone, they want to find someone, life partner, and everyone's like, no, don't go on those apps. No, don't do this. No, don't do that. And it's like, well, what do these poor people do? They have to meet someone. They literally can't go to we can't go to the pub and find someone. Do you know what I mean? So for me, that was one of the biggest things for me I wanted to tap into. It's not an overnight thing. It's going to take me years to get anywhere to having a good solution. But the way I see it right now is it's a platform. So I set up these events, people can come to them, and the onus is on them to meet and mingle with people. I do go into the events and I do my little thing.
Do you try and push the guy in the corner? Come on, mate.
I do that a lot because it is very difficult, because when I used to go to these events as well, you just want to sit in a corner and
exactly. Especially if you don't go with anyone as well.
Oh gosh.
So when I went to the generally I think I'm okay, even if I go alone. I'll find someone to be my buddy. You just pick one person. But usually I go with a friend, and then we become friends with the wider group, and we just split apart, and then we explore things. But I know so many people that will go alone, and they're like, oh, what do I do?
It's not easy, and I
especially in the dating, in the board game thing, you just pick a game and it's fine.
Exactly.
But in the dating thing, it's a bit different, right?
It's and I do commend people who do that, but you could tell when they come, they're so nervous. So then I always ask them, well, what are you here for? And I love the honesty. I'm here to look for a wife, or I'm here to look for a husband. So then there was this group of girls that came last time, and they came for the purpose to find someone, and they just sat with each other and they didn't mingle. So I try and encourage them, say, look, come on, this is the complexity as well. I always found growing up is that my parents told me not to mingle with the opposite sex, and then all of a sudden it's now you need to find a partner. So we don't have the skills. I certainly don't have the skills. So I can understand when girls and guys go to these events, they feel uncomfortable. So I try and tell them, okay, why don't you go play a game? Or I also ask as well, I ask people, okay, is there anyone that you like? And the girls will never say anything, but the guys, I honestly, I just love the energy guys bring to these events. They're like, I like this girl, I like that girl, I like that, and I've already approached this girl, but could you help me with this girl?
Oh wow, so they come to you to say oh, can you wingman me? Yeah, that's
my
nice.
Favorite job. Honestly, I wish I could follow it through to the end, but at one point I have to just leave and be okay,
let them enjoy it. Yeah, wow, that's nice. So what kind of how have you adjusted to that as well? So I can imagine if people are just in a room, how do you get them to mingle or break away from their groups that they've come in?
Yeah, so we try and do this cheesy little icebreaker at the start. We actually didn't do it at the last event because it was so busy, but we do icebreakers at the start, which makes people go up to each other and talk to each other. It forces them, and with the majority of the guys, and I can speak kind of from my experience, the majority of them say, oh, we can tell within a couple of minutes if we like a girl, because purely for them it's looks based. So whereas girls, they need to sit with that person, find out the job that he's doing, how many sisters he has, you know, all the lists that girls have. So everybody has different requirements. So I try and encourage, you know, breaking the ice, and after that play a game, and then we try and do a bit of networking as well. So then it gives people that enough time to chat to each other. And then after that, I tell them, right, the next step is you have to make that move. And I every single time I go, I tell the girls, you have to make the move. Because
what is the move?
So like,
is it like they drop? I was going to say their dupatta or something, you know, like
it's not a Bollywood movie.
Exactly. They drop their dupatta, you know.
No, it's not like that. Although that'd be fun.
Or they drop their umbrella because
Like
they're
a
in the
handkerchief.
London.
Oh, it's raining.
You know what? Maybe we could trial that one day. Like a
dupatta, practice dupatta throw, you know, that'd be jokes.
Oh my God, no way. So usually it's kind of like, for the girls I say, look, if there's someone that you like, you know, that you think you kind of got on with, go over, sit down with them, just say like, are you free for like 5 minutes, let's have a chat, see if there's a vibe there, and, you know, make that move, ask for the number. You know, we're living in a new world, you know, where we've got like robots everywhere, and we've got girls that are too shy to approach a guy. Like, I think it's important that girls take an active effort to making a move as well.
Make a move. You know, one thing I realized is, like, when I was speaking to a lass as well, I feel like they're too shy to be interesting.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, they're so shy, they hide their personality.
Yeah.
But that has an inverse effect, because if you're hiding your personality, I'm just like, you must be this boring.
Yeah, that does. But I don't know if you noticed, when people are playing games, they're a little bit more animated.
Yeah, 100%.
So I feel that and I always find it interesting, because the person that's the most competitive and the most nastiest person, I'm like, who are you like this? And like,
oh yeah, does it translate? Does it translate into your normal life?
Exactly.
Wow. That's deep.
But then also, I know. Also, I'm just like, if they're competitive and they're like a good team player, they're getting everyone involved, I'm like, yeah, you know. And so for me, it's like you're almost not judging them, but you're looking at them and you're trying to understand.
You're seeing their traits. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's interesting.
Like, do I like this person? Could I like this person to meet for like, you know, like a date or whatever it is, coffee, and so it's that initial thing that I bring as part of these events, and the next is really up to them.
You know, that's funny, because when I was playing the Scrabble game, like, I hate following rules, right? So I was like just making random words, and I made random words in different languages, and there was this auntie that was there, and she was on the rules. She was like, yeah, you can call me auntie. I was like, fine. Okay. But she was like, no, Yasin, that's not a word in English, so I'm not going to count it. And I'm like, I don't care. So I could see like those like different personalities. Like,
I know exactly who you're talking about, by the way. Just the way he's describing it, I know exactly who you're talking about.
If you're watching this, I love you. And then my friend that's there as well. So Sahar, if you're watching this as well, she's like very competitive, and she'll do whatever she needs to win as well. So she'll believe the rules as long as that puts her in the winning spot.
Okay.
So there's like a few things that came out. It's interesting.
It is, isn't it? So yeah, I just think that playing games and things like that is a good way to like break the ice and find out more about people. Because I don't know if you've ever been to a speed dating event, and I've had my fair share of going to them. But you go to them and you sit in front of someone, you ask them questions about like, you know, or do you live with your mum, or, you know, what's going to happen with the pension? Like, girls ask these questions. They actually do. They happened to one of my events, and I was standing there in a corner, and I was like, oh my God.
What's going to happen to whose pension?
I don't know.
To the mums.
Ask about inheritance. I don't know.
Yo!
Yeah.
Somebody ever asked me that question?
That's a red flag right there.
Trust me, the kind of questions, and unfortunately, and I'm going to slate my own gender for this, but yeah, like a lot of the women do ask these kind of questions, and yeah, they don't answer them. They're at like their side as well, you know. So this is what I hate the awkwardness with these speed dating events. I just didn't want to do that at all. I wanted to bring something a bit different.
Let me give a quick hot take. There was a lass that messaged me asking to see my paycheck, and she said if your paycheck isn't higher than my paycheck, we can't continue this conversation. And I was like,
Ban for ban. That's what they call it. Ban for ban. So on speed dating, where you get to know someone like briefly. They're asking.
Masculine inheritance. They're
That's
asking
insane.
pension. Oh, there was something else they were asking as well. I can't remember it. I erased it from my memory. Honestly, it
was that
traumatized
bad?
me. It was that bad, and it was embarrassing as well because one of the guys that attended a speed dating event came up to me and said, "This is what girls were asking me," and I was like, "I'm really sorry." So
We need to know what it is.
yeah, I can't remember. I think
If
it's
it's that
probably to
bad.
do with his money.
Oh my god. So what do you think is, because I've never been to a speed dating event, because I just find it, I find it a bit too quick.
Yeah.
You know, like I've never been to one, but I just feel like the concept of it is a bit too quick.
Yeah, I agree with you. I hate them. I absolutely hate them. And I did do a couple at the start when I started doing the events, and I didn't like them at all. People put on a fake persona.
Exactly.
You know,
How long do you sit with each person? Is it like?
that's the thing. It's like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's too
It's
quick.
nothing. You know, how can you judge just by 5 minutes? And also as well, one of the things that I found that was quite interesting is at the end, girls would not take anyone because they had this fear of rejection. So they were like, oh, if I don't match with anyone, and if I've ticked 5 people, that's it. I'm going to be really sad. They would tell me this.
Also, at the end, you take who you want to
Yeah,
chat to, and then do you share the numbers or something? Or?
No, so if there's a match. So if you like someone and the other person likes you, there's a match.
Right. Okay.
So that's why I think for a lot of the girls, they're like, oh, I don't want to take anyone because if I don't get a match, I'm going to feel bad.
Yeah. Exactly. I guess the guys just ticked
The
everyone.
guys take like all the girls, you know? I mean, yeah. But the thing is as well, with this whole dating scenario, you can't put your ego into it.
Exactly.
If you put your ego into it, you're going to be single forever.
Exactly.
Do you know? You have to put your ego aside. You have to take risks. You have to put yourself out there. And this is what I say to all the girls, like have a conversation with the guy, you know, if there is enough there to go like on a further date with him, take them. But it goes back to, you know, what you were saying, like I hate speed dating events.
Yeah.
You know, it's not enough time. It's all based on looks, you know, and the fake persona.
Yeah.
So in the future, like what I want to do with the speed dating events is make them like a kind of combined gaming / speed.
Exactly. Yeah, that might be
Speed
better.
dating, gaming, or you do some sort of activity with that person for like maybe 10 minutes and then you have a conversation and then maybe have a bite. So it's like a longer date,
Yeah.
you know?
And you actually get to learn about them without learning about them.
Yeah, exactly. Although I've passed this idea to some of the girls and they're like, oh, but what if we get stuck with someone we don't really like?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, well, that's the whole part of the process.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you know, like-
you have to suffer. You know, sometimes.
Yeah, you have to suffer. But also as well, like sometimes you might not like someone just by appearance, but then you could just sit and talk to them and be like, oh, actually, they're into this. Oh,
Exactly,
we've got
yeah, you
this
can
in
find
common.
interest, yeah.
Yeah, and you might realize as a friend, or you might actually end up liking them. You have
Yeah,
to
that's
give
true.
them a chance.
You have to take the shot. Yeah.
You do. So, yeah, I've absolutely hate speed dating events, and I think they should not happen. They, you know,
But what do you say? Because I guess when non-Muslim people do speed dating, it's more their vibe, right? Like, but I feel like when Muslim people do speed dating or any type of dating, it's like, why is it Muslim people like, how much do you earn? Like, does your mom have a pension pot? Like, what is that? Like, what?
Isn't it because they're like dating with the intention to marry?
yeah.
Yeah, but even if you're getting married, why is it that, I don't know if it's specific to South Asians, but why are South Asians like, what is the money? What is the title?
This is the thing though. I think it's because we have our own lists, but our family have their own lists. So unfortunately, I don't agree with this, but our moms and our parents are telling us that, you know, check his biodata, check his salary, check the job he's doing, you know, and they have to report back to their parent and tell them, oh, we found someone. Oh, by the way, he's earning this much. Oh, by the way. So they have to sell them. And I'm not saying it's right, but it's maybe why it's happening.
Yeah.
So,
And I guess it's like a safe way to check if they're a normal person. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Like if you are, no disrespect to any of the brothers, yeah. But like say if you were like a tennis coach
Yeah.
for like children, it's like, okay, yeah, what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Are you really raising the next Roger Federer or something? You know, then
Yeah.
it makes you question like, oh, okay, what kind of life would I have with this person?
Yeah, true.
So it's like,
It's really hard though, isn't it? Because I think for us growing up, that's how people got married back in the day. It was very much like kind of like a job description type of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, this person can provide, therefore this is going to be a good match. But it isn't really like that, I think, in this generation. It kind of is a bit of both, you know. You're not looking for a job. You're not looking, you know, you're not looking, you're not looking for a husband that's going to...
So what do you think about this? I'm just going off the top of my head. Yeah. So back in the day, people would look for like a provider, right? Someone that can go out, bring the peas in and run that money will run the house. So like the women could decide whatever they want to do. They could start their own business. They could like do something from home, take care of the children. But nowadays, cost of living has gone up.
Yeah.
So it's like everyone's working. And now because everyone's working, everyone has like modern lists of what they want. Yeah. So it's like, oh, you're doing a job, but are you actually fun? Like, what?
Yeah.
It's harder now because there's so much more to do. Is it done? 30. Tea break. Yeah.
Oh, it's funny.
Oh, it's hella hot.
You want sugar? Yes. How much? Spoon.
Nice.
It's all right.
That's good.
Now that it's warm.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, she's like grabbing it. It's like nice and warm. Yeah.
Perfect.
It's not burning yet.
No, come
Bro, it's so
on.
hot. I put my tongue on it.
Come on. I drink it piping hot.
I can't do that.
It goes in the microwave,
I don't know how, but my mom.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I do the same. Yeah.
And they don't even do that. You know that one? They don't even do that. So yeah, like what's like, because you've run a business before. She's also run a chocolate business, so we'll add the links below. But like I feel like people don't rate certain businesses. Like they wouldn't understand. And I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, here's my accounts. Like, you know, like what is that? I'm never gonna show any uncle my accounts, bro. Never. But it's like, if I say that, they're like, okay, that's great, but like, what's your job? And it's like, are you mad? Like, do you know how much you have to do to run a business, you know?
Yeah. No, I find that there's like so much, like people just judge whatever you're doing in terms of business, and until it's not relating to something that everyone else is doing. Exactly. You know, like if you're not a doctor, if you're not an engineer, if you're not running a restaurant business, it's not good enough. Exactly. Trust me, I ran my business for 4 years, and for the entire 4 years, I spent that time selling it to all of my like South Asian family friends. You know, in fact, they didn't ever see the potential in it until until I actually came on TV, and then they were like, oh, look at her, like she's so sparky.
That's so relatable to us as well.
Yeah.
Like we've actually done an episode on motivation and taking initiative.
Oh my god. Yeah. That's amazing.
One of the things was when you have a dream, you need to be careful who you share it with. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people that can't share that dream. It's not that they don't want to, they just can't. Yeah. And they'll not believe in it until they see other people appreciating it. Yeah. And it's such a toxic trait.
It's very sheep culture, isn't it?
Oh, the sheep, yeah.
The sheep. Yeah, I know.
All the desi sheep.
That's the thing, like when you do something like brave or unique, you have to really excel in it to actually stand out. And you know, and then only then people will look at you. They won't give you any respect. I remember people used to be like, chocolate business, what are you making chocolate for? What are you doing? And then I used to tell them, and when they tried it, they were like, oh my god,
this is really good.
Yeah, and like I said, it was only until I came on TV until I actually got some recognition.
That's insane. So I want to try a brownie. You can use my oven whenever you want, I swear to God. My oven is only for that now. Exactly. Alrighty, so kind of went a wee bit off topic. But so just a quick take as well. What are some of the things that guys look for when they go speed dating? And then you can tell us what girls look for as well.
Yeah, so I want to talk a bit about lists and stuff and people's expectations. And I also want to talk about classic ghosting as well. I want to put that in at the end. But yeah, it's really interesting, I think, because as time has progressed, you know, I've definitely seen and noticed that people's lists or requirements is just becoming ridiculous.
They're getting longer, yeah?
They're getting longer and they're extremely ridiculous. It's cold now.
Like the thing that you got a tissue wrapped around it, obviously you can hold it. Bro, I was holding it, I was like, No, sorry, I'll let it cool.
Lightweight.
You're talking about, I was like... So you're talking about lists, yeah? So the list that people have.
I feel like everyone's list is just getting a little bit ridiculous. And I hate to do this, but I am going to quote classic Seamanti and say that, you know, if anyone has watched
Seamanti,
yeah, like she does say, don't get me wrong, because there's some things that I don't agree with what she says, but the one thing that she does say is she talks about compromise. So, you know, you can't get everything on your list. You can't. You have to compromise on some things. And I have spoken to a lot of people who have stupid things on the list. Oh, her hair needs to be like this. Oh, yeah, her hair needs to be like this. Or,
Bro, wait, just 1 second. Imagine she was wearing a hijab, right, and they get married. And then he finds out afterwards.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's people that actually like, after that.
yeah,
It's too funny.
it's tragic, honestly.
What's the most ridiculous stuff you've heard?
Well, so again, I'm going to slate my gender, but women have this whole thing about height.
Okay, well, let's start with the guys. What's the most? What's the most?
Actually real. I thought it was a joke.
Bro,
What's
it's
the
not
joke?
that deep for you, man. It's okay, bro.
What?
What do you mean, bro?
Bro, you're doctor, bro. You're like 7 foot to aunties, bro.
You're sorted. You'll be all right. So from a guy's point of view, like I think it's ridiculous because they all say to me they look at looks. That's the only thing they care about. I remember this one guy said to me that like, oh, you know what? I don't really care much about the girl as long as she's good to look at.
Really?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, every girl has some sort of personality. So, but for me, looks is really important. And somebody said this to me as well, said, your events don't bring enough beautiful women.
Whoa.
I was
said
like,
that.
are you mad? I was like, look around. Every girl is beautiful here, you know? And yeah, so I feel like guys are sometimes a little bit too judgmental on the appearance, you know? And like, I don't know, they have very, very particular things that they want. Oh, I have heard guys say like, oh, her skin color, you know, and stuff like that. And it's just, honestly, it's like, come on.
I think guys, they kind of, like, it's fine to have a preference, but then you can't just go to, like, they can't come to you and be like, yogis, like, but was the Muslimic models, bro? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
Like, give
no.
everyone a chance, you know?
I think it's important to know what you want, but I think it's like ridiculous. You should have a must-have and a nice-to-have, and everyone should have deal breakers. But in the deal breakers, you shouldn't have things that are based on appearance. That's personally what I think. From my experiences, what I've learned as well is that, you know, at the end of the day, you're stuck with one person for the rest of your life. Do you really, looks are going to fade, but that person is going to remain that person. And I think what's important to look for in someone is the mentality of being able to change, being able to improve, you know, to always strive to be the best version of themselves. And that is a rare thing to find.
Do you think that's rare to find in guys and girls? Is that?
Yeah, I think, well...
Or just in general?
That's a tough one because, yeah, I think both. Yeah, South Asians in general. Sorry. I have met lots of Arab guys that are a little bit more like entrepreneurial, you know, and I'm just like, that's good. But then I feel like with South Asians, they're like, oh, let's be a doctor, let's be an engineer.
No shots fired, no shots fired. Friendly fire. Yeah, so, yeah, that is interesting. So, yeah. So going back to the things that guys look for as well. You've mentioned looks, like, if you could order what guys look for, or what are the common things that you've heard through your events?
So this is again really controversial, but I've had guys tell me that they were looking for someone who's, so they say it's straightforward, right? But what they actually mean is that they want someone who actually doesn't really have much of an opinion.
What? What?
Yeah.
You just said that so casually.
Yeah.
It
Again,
makes sense, though.
Someone that doesn't have an opinion.
No, I've heard it.
Someone that doesn't have an opinion.
okay.
Yeah.
Someone
No, that's because you only say that because you're the exact opposite.
Yeah. So I'm the exact opposite of that.
I have one question. You see these people that you said that like they're making ridiculous comments.
Yeah.
What age demographic do they fit in?
Millennials. Majority millennials.
The
will say
millennials
that,
are saying
saying stuff like that.
that
Yeah.
they don't want an opinionated.
Yeah.
So what?
I don't know why.
Promise. What are you gonna talk to? What are you gonna talk about with your wife? Bro?
No.
Like dramas.
So the
Kabhi khushi kabhi gham. There's no cushy. It's just gum, bro.
They don't like to have a girl that's too smart, is what they say. Because if she's too smart, then she's going to boss them around. And they want to be the boss man. And look, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, I grew up in an environment where my dad was like the dominating character, and I like that. But then I feel like there shouldn't be a power struggle. Do you know? It should just be like, oh, the guy is good at certain things, the girl's good at certain things. It should be a balance. But when a guy actively says, I want to like literally dominate, I want to be the dominating character, you know, I don't want a girl that speaks up too much. That for me is like, that's not right.
Sounds abusive to me.
Yeah.
It just sounds like borderline too controlling. So,
Yeah.
but I have a hot take on that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that South Asian women are actually like that though? They are quite opinionated. They do like to take control,
Oh, interesting.
right?
Oh, so I guess it depends on everyone's experience. I feel like you can meet people who are like on both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You meet girls that are very like submissive and very much like, okay, yeah, I'll do this. And then you meet girls who are the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like they have maybe had a difficult childhood, and as a result, they want to control every aspect of their life.
Hi guys, thanks for watching part 1 of this episode with Wajeeha. Stay tuned for part 2. Please like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
I'm having so much fun. Like seriously, it's probably the most fun podcast I've ever done. Actually, yeah.
Clip that. Don't forget to like and subscribe.